Recording has already been started. Is it, Mr. Menon? Did you start the recording?
Yes, the meeting has started, and
Okay,
the recording
fine.
is also started.
That's good. That's good. So I will straight away start with sharing of my screen. What I'm doing today is, since it is number seventh session of this particular cycle of DevOps. So what I will do is just to recover. In the meantime, during the World Cup, the World Cup final, which fortunately India has won with a with a very, I mean, there was a very fantastic contest with South Africa, but fortunately enough, South Africa could not manage hold on to that edge that it had. But anyhow, it is good for India that we have won the World Cup. So during that 1 week, the previous week, unfortunately, we couldn't have that session. Okay, so it is just a continuation. Can you see the screen? Let me know if you are already being able to see it.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. So we had already covered all this topic. That is, we had a very good theoretical background of what is Docker, what is container, what is image, what do you mean by a container, how do you put your application, that is the developer has given you the application to be deployed, and how do you package it within the container, and the container being a dynamic object, how you run the container. If you run the if you are able to run the container, that means you are running the image. You are running the image means you are running the application, and from outside of that container, the container might be hosted anywhere, onto any server or any place. It could be on a pipeline. It can be on a GitLab pipeline. So all these things were discussed, and you know how fantastic it can be. So the technology is you can have hundreds of microservices running inside the container. Each individual container will have one microservice running as a part of the application. It is not a monolithic application. It is an application which is having broken down into small microservices. And that is possible because you have the containered application. That means you have put the application as an image and put it that into your container. And once you run the container, that means you are running the application, the microservice. So today I will, because all this theory part has been done. So today what I will do a bit of hands-on so that you can get a better picture. So whenever I will come to refer to this, what I'm doing over the, on the container, what I'm doing, I will refer to this diagram. So basically, I'm going to use one instance, a virtual instance over the cloud, AWS Cloud, where I have already installed Docker. Okay. And I will use that Docker engine. So now you may ask, what are the things that you have installed? Okay, I will tell you what we have installed. Yeah, so this particular picture, you have already have gone through this picture. Okay, the Docker, when I say I have installed Docker onto my server, that is I have installed the Docker server, which is the Docker engine. I have installed the REST API, which will communicate with the command line interface, that is the Docker CLI and the server. So this is the Docker daemon, which is the main engine of a Docker. This is a layer on top of the Docker server, which is giving sort of a security. You were learning about all the security, right? Say last 2 hours, you have been with a fantastic session of with Karthik, you were learning about security. Here also, in a very practical way of seeing that what is happening actually in a nutshell, that this is the Docker engine. This is a security layer which will allow or disallow certain things to interact with the daemon, because that is very secured part. And here is your interface, that CLI, where you will issue the Docker commands, or you may write a Docker file. Docker file is again an object of your Docker. Okay. So that file, or that instructions compiled in a file, will flow down through the REST API to reach the Docker daemon. And then Docker daemon will create an image or build an image, put that image into a container, and with the help of the Docker network, it will be able to, and with the help of Docker volume, it will be able to run the container along with the environment. Are you getting me? What I'm trying to say? So when I say I have installed Docker, basically I'm saying that I have installed the Docker CLI, I have installed the REST API, I have installed the Docker daemon. Any questions before I go to the hands-on? Any one of you have any questions? Please let me know, because after this, we are simply going to go to the AWS Cloud. So let me know if you are being able to see this. I am inside the AWS console, the cloud console, which is this is the AWS. Okay. I am inside. I've gone into my account.
I just want to point to something else, Mr. Debasi.
Sorry.
It looks like someone kind of wrote in the chat. It looks like this recording is on the same. Is a continuation of the cybersecurity. I thought it should be separate. Oh, no. Okay, because it should, on my end here it shows 56. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a DevOps session. Cybersecurity has just ended. Karthik has been with you for the last 2 hours. Yeah. So I am doing this because I have been following a sort of a series. When I started with AWS, this is the cycle 2 of our DevOps training session, or rather internship program. Okay, where the previous 6 sessions, I will tell you, we have done AWS. Okay, first of all, the first session was the introduction to DevOps. What is DevOps? Why should we learn DevOps? What is the need? What is the roadmap? Where cybersecurity also comes at the very last stage of learning DevOps. So that was discussed. After that, we went to AWS, the cloud, and then we understood Terraform, then Ansible. Then we had 2 sessions on GitLab. That is, we were creating a pipeline. Like Karthik was mentioning, that when you do the DevSecOps, you have to provide your applications, whether it is web application or some backend application, database application, whatever application, those which are running on the pipeline, because most of them are automation. Okay. So whenever you are working in an organization as a DevOps engineer or DevSecOps engineer or a cybersecurity engineer, you are mainly focused on automation and how do you secure your automation. Okay. So when we have built a pipeline with the GitLab, we have seen how. Yeah, Alex, you had a question. Just 1 minute. You can also you can just stop me and make your audio on and just ask me a question, because sometimes when I am out of this screen, when I am in the PowerPoint presentation, or I will not be able to see what are you asking. So you can stop me. You can ask me directly. I have a question. What is the difference between an S3 bucket, which is a container, right, which takes in an image, and a Docker container? First of all, S3 bucket is not a container. It can be treated as a container, but if you are technically, if I have to be right, then S3 bucket is not a container. It is sort of a storage, a type of storage that is a storage service provided by AWS Cloud. Container technology will be absolutely a bit different. Okay, because the containers, you can say when you say S3 bucket, yeah, you cannot store directly your images, which is there in the container. You cannot directly store over S3 bucket, over which you can store your otherwise the other photos, images, or your files and folders. Okay, you can use S3 bucket as a static website as well, not a dynamic one, but at least a static web page, a website. But other than that, it cannot be used as an image registry. The image registry is always the Docker hub. Or if you ask me, there is also a provision of like image registry within the GitLab also. GitLab is like one in all. GitLab where you create your pipeline. So anyway, I will not discuss, but did I answer your question? So Docker image and S3 bucket are two different things. S3 buckets are the storage objects provided by AWS. This S3 bucket is not available with Azure or Google Cloud or Oracle Cloud. So S3 bucket is a service provided by storage service provided by AWS. And the Docker is a technology which will provide you how to compile the application of a developer, whether it's a microservice or a monolithic application, into an image, build that as an image and put that into a container. Because unless and until you put an image into a container, you will not be able to execute the image or run the image. Is that clear, Alex? So if you are happy with that, let me come back to this. And as I was saying that I will refer to this diagram when I say that I have Docker installed already into my server. So let me go to my AWS Cloud, where I'm in this region, Mumbai region, and I have logged in as DevOps Internship in this account of Kalkey training as a user. I am user as DevOps Internship. Okay, I'm going to a service of AWS, which is EC2. EC2 is the instance. I have already created an instance, and I think that is running as well. I have made it up and running. So what is an instance? If somebody can help me. When I say I have, this is the cloud, on this cloud, I have a virtual instance, which is called EC2. Your Elastic Cloud Computing, E and two C's. So it is called EC2. Now, when I say EC2 over the cloud, AWS cloud, what do I mean? Is this S3 bucket? Is this a storage? Is this a server? Is this a network?
It's a server hosted in the cloud.
This is a server. Very good, very good, very good, very good. I am using a virtual server in my account, which I have created over the cloud. I am using the Mumbai region because it is, I am in India, so it is nearer, so I can avoid the latency. But it's okay. I could have created my server over Ohio or North Virginia in US as well. I will not feel that difference of latency. Anyway, that is not the topic. The topic is why I have used a server. I have created this instance because I wanted to install Docker and I wanted to create image. I wanted to put those images into my container. Is that concept more or less clear? So when I say I have installed my Docker into this server, I refer to this diagram. Okay, that means I have installed three parts. I have installed the Docker server, which is the Docker daemon. I have installed the REST API, which is sort of a layer on top of abstraction layer on top of this server, which with the help of which it will be carrying our commands, Docker commands, which we issue from the command line interface, either individually giving the commands, or maybe I have compiled. I have put all those commands one after the other inside a Docker file. So Docker file is one object which can be compiled and which can be made use by the Docker engine. The Docker engine will be able to run that Docker file and will be able to process the commands within that file. That is what I'm going to see. We are going to see now. So let me, I'm running this on the cloud. So let me, this is the public IP address. There are two IP addresses of any instance, you know. One is the private IPv4 address and the other one is the public IPv4 address. I will copy the public IP address because from outside, I will never be allowed to connect over my private IPv4 address. Is that part clear? And I'm not going to repeat the session for AWS, but I assume you already know that as part of this series, I'm going to use PuTTY and because I'm using Windows. Okay, and I have a SSH connector. SSH is the protocol through which we connect to any Linux system. Okay, so I am connecting my Windows to, I'm from the Windows, I'm going to connect to my server, that is the internship Docker. I've given it a name. That instance I'm going to create, so I have already saved this. I will just change the IP address. Yeah. And in this session, I have connected over a authentication key that is through a PPK file, which is nothing but your public key. That is the fingerprint. You are matching a fingerprint. Otherwise, this is again a part of cyber security. You have to know all these things. Karthik was mentioning that you have to learn about firewalls because you want to prevent the, lots of interaction or unwanted interaction, intrusion into your system. So you want to prevent that. Okay, the DDoS. You want to reduce it by using some firewall. And that is the firewall, as well as this is the fingerprint. So firewall is part of one security and a fingerprint is another part of a security. Firewall is sort of a set of rules that you design. You have built up a house. You don't want that house to be open to, vulnerable to any trespassers, unwanted trespassers. What will you do? How to protect that house? You will
unlock.
Yes, you will do a fire fencing, maybe, if you want to secure that well, that building that well, that house that well. Okay, because you want to fence it around that building with some security installation, some rules that you say that you will only allow a person who will be allowed with a known sort of identity. So only when that person is authenticated through that security wall, then only the person will be able to enter the house. So our house is the server because we have the solemn duty to protect our assets, the IT assets, which is one of them is your server. You will not allow any unauthenticated access to it. So can you see some relation between what you learn in DevOps and what you do in cybersecurity in form of DevSecOps? Okay. So all these things are a matter of things. So firewall is one of those security measures, as well as the fingerprint. And see, you have reached the front gate of your building through the firewall. That is fine. But again, that is not enough. You need to identify that person, authenticate that person. The person should be matching the fingerprint. So that fingerprint should be available to the owner of the house. That means the owner of the house will authenticate whether the fingerprints is known fingerprint, somebody known to you. Only that person will be allowed to open the door or come inside. Fine. So I have already used you see DevOps Internship. That is the name of the key pair. And I will just cancel it now. I will go over there. See, I have built a instance where you have that the same key. So the fingerprint should match. So I am that person who is having that fingerprint. So I will be allowed. So let me see if I am allowed or not. So I will again copy this, I will go to my putty because I know that this particular session has the fingerprint of DevOps internship. And with this IP address, public IP address, I am going to open it. I am going to log in into this server. Yes, can you see? I have logged in. I've already prepared for you because I didn't want to waste much of a time with installation and other stuff.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Why aren't we? You remember in the past sessions where you said, and I don't know whether to call it an arbitrary one, like not to really hard code the IP address. Why in this case, why aren't we using that? Just a by the way question.
So can you repeat that question? I was not being able to.
Oh, okay, sorry. In the previous sessions, we didn't need to necessarily hard code the public IP address.
Okay.
You showed us another way of doing that because seemingly the public IP address will change from time to time.
Okay.
Why is it possible that in this instance we can use that, or it is just a practice run?
Yeah,
I'm just trying.
very good question. Fantastic question. I understand from where you are coming, arriving at this question. Very good. That is, see, I'm now manually entering. I'm trying to show you something. So I'm trying to access this server. Okay. And I assume that nobody is standing behind me to watch the IP address or the password or the fingerprint. Nobody, it is not a password authentication. It is a fingerprint authentication, which is called the key pair authentication. Okay. So I'm safe that what I'm doing is only known to me. Nobody else is going to be shared with that information. That is one way. That is manually, because you want to access it manually, this server, and start your work. That is why I'm using a tool called Putty, which is nothing but a SSH tool. I could have also used Git Bash terminal or a Mac terminal, Mac OS terminal. Okay, so there I can just like I could have gone there and I would have directly used a command, SSH command, and I will give the identification file, the fingerprint. What is the fingerprint is DevOps Internship .pem. Now here I am using PEM internship. So, and then I will say Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is the user, and I will give the public IP address. Yeah, you are saying that I don't want to expose the public IP address. That is a different question again. I want to give this public IP address to connect to this server. Okay, from where? From my Windows machine, I'm using SSH protocol. I could have given this as a direct command. I will be connecting to the user Ubuntu with this particular fingerprint. Okay, and that will be matched with this particular server, which is having that fingerprint as well. There will be a authentication, a handshaking. Instead of doing this, if I press enter and if I have this particular thing inside this folder, then it will surely work. But I'm doing it directly from Putty. In Putty also, I have given all this information. So anyway, whether you want to use any Windows terminal like Git Bash, or you want to do it from the Mac OS terminal, it is up to you. The question is whether I want to, how I want to connect it.
This is not better. I'm gonna have a sofa.
Can you tell the guy to
Yes.
mute, please?
A sofa.
Can you mute your microphone?
Yeah, sorry, there is some microphone unwantedly, maybe that is on. So we can, now your question was, is there a way that I can hide this information? Of course, there is. I should not allow, I should not, even if nobody is standing behind me to watch what I'm doing, but I should not be still doing it anyway. But that I will do when I'm doing some sort of automation. I will do that in the pipeline. See, we have used the GitLab, and in the GitLab, I have accessed my account with the access key ID and with my security credentials. Did I expose that in the script? No, I didn't. I had a mechanism to hide it. Similarly, here also, when let's say I'm using Ansible, and Ansible is from server to server, I want to connect from the master server to the host server. Okay. Now, in that case, I will not expose my IP address, because that IP address will be there in the inventory.ini or the inventory file. And the inventory file is not accessible to outside. And all these things are part of automation. This secrecy, this security, everything comes along with your knowledge in DevOps. Are you getting me? Your question was fantastic, but you need bit of a knowledge of how to hide your this sensitive informations like the passwords or IP address. Or so in that case, if you have a domain, if you have a recognized domain and you have put in your IP address, so you have converted your IP address into a domain name, DNS, you have kept it within a DNS server. So in that case, you will just use the alias or the DNS name. You are not supposed to give your IP address. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you very much.
There are many ways to hide your information such that it is not exposed to the external world. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. You've answered my question. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, sure. And you, in the Kubernetes, when you learn Kubernetes, because you are handling hundreds and hundreds of microservices within the container. So there are hundreds of containers having hundreds of microservices, and you want to log in to one of the containers. You want to do it. So there are many ways that you can hide your password, your login credentials, and whatever. So those are through the secret file of Kubernetes. So Kubernetes will provide you the mechanism how to hide your important confidential information. Okay, but all these things will come as you learn the subject. So can you understand the link between your cybersecurity and the assets or the resources that you protect or use them in DevOps? Okay, because everywhere, all your the organization is using DevOps for automation, but that is not all. You have to protect your assets, you protect your resources, the network, which is part of the DevOps as well, for the automation of deployment. Your so vast number of things are under your those can create a lot of havoc, a lot of issues, like he was saying about incidents. Okay, so let us do something which such that the incidents are not actually which can be converted into the real, the security breach. So if you do not want to have a security breach, you have to prevent at the incident stage only. All these things can be done. But my question was, my objective is to show you some hands-on on this thing. And we have already installed Docker into this EC2 instance. How do I know that? How do we know that we have installed Docker? Okay, so let us see sudo. First of all, let me check what is the Docker version. If I have installed Docker, I will see the Docker version. Yes, the Docker version is 26, which is the latest version. Okay, and now the second question is Docker is a service. Docker is a service. Can you everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
So Docker is a, yeah, thank you. So the service is a daemon. Daemon means something which runs in the background as a process. Okay, or you can say it's a kernel process of the operating system. Kernel will be, it has a process ID, kernel process with a PID, process ID, and the process ID is safe. You know, it is not safely running in the background. Why? Because they are not accessible in the foreground. If they were available in the foreground, what will happen? What will happen? You can easily interrupt the working. You can break it. You can stop it. And unintentionally we kill the process. So the application will stop running. So it's a dangerous thing. So in these services which will work on a port, so service will listen. See, somebody was saying that if you need to be a cybersecurity expert, Karthik was saying that you need to have a good knowledge on Linux. Okay, and that is a fact. And when you learn Linux, and Karthik will teach you Linux, even in DevOps, we will learn Linux, AWS, or the cloud and everything that is needed. Because we have many students coming from a non-IT background. It doesn't matter whether you are coming from an arts background, commerce background, or you are coming for a purely IT background. Everyone will start from the beginning over here. We will take you through a journey of DevOps when you learn it from the scratch, because however good you are in IT, you have a lot of experience, you will still find that something you didn't know. And it is nothing to be ashamed about, because when we learn something, we learn only with the purpose of getting a job, right? We will be also making you job ready. But for that, we will not try to fool around, because you can just get a job, but you will not be able to sustain a job if you are not sincere, if you're not honest with your knowledge. So we have to learn few things very sincerely and very correctly. So when you learn Linux, you will see that the services will listen to a port. So if I say there is a service called SSH, what is the port? There is a famous port for SSH services like SSHD daemon. SSH daemon will run on port 80 for any Linux system. What about HTTP service? This is also a service. Sorry. SSH will run on 22, port 22, famous port. What about 80? What about HTTP?
80.
HTTPS, which is the secured with the SSL certificates, secured sites. 443. Very good. You are champions. And maybe MySQL, which is also a service, database service. 3306. And what about Tomcat? Tomcat is also a web server like the HTTP or like the Apache. Tomcat, see
No,
HTTP
8080 or
and
something.
8080. Very good. I'm getting all the questions answered correctly. Very good. 8080. Jenkins. Jenkins, if you have installed, Jenkins is a pipeline integrator. You know, it is good, but we have learned about GitLab. GitLab is much more versatile than Jenkins. Anyway, so Jenkins is also working on 8080. Now you will ask, if there is on a server, you have to install Jenkins as well as Tomcat. Will it not clash?
To clash, I think you have to change the port of one of them. Something.
Yes, yeah. Either you have to change the Tomcat port to a 8081 or something else, or maybe the Jenkins one. So you have to know all these things, and you have to know the firewall. Firewall. The firewall is you have all those commands, net tools. Net tools which you install, and you can have the network statistics. You can understand what are the firewall ports, which are the things. So here also, I will check whether my Docker is running as a service listening to any port. So let me check. So there is a way to do that. Sudo systemctl status of Docker. I want to check whether Docker is running in the background. Yes, I am seeing that Docker is running in the background. It is active and running. So when I say Docker is running, it is nothing but the container. Docker is the container engine, the daemon. So I can relate that to this. So the Docker daemon is running, Docker engine is running in the background. And since we have installed Docker CLI, I mean the Docker CLI is also there. How do I know that the Docker CLI is installed? Okay. Yeah, of course. If you have seen Docker version, you definitely, that Docker version is not only for Docker engine, it is for the CLI, the REST API. And I can verify my CLI is working. I can issue a command like Docker PS. You see, I'm trying to see what are the containers, list of containers, the processes of containers which are running in the background. Right now, I do not have any container. Okay, so this is a CLI command. This is a Docker CLI command. Okay, I know when I'm giving this hands-on, many of you might lose interest. If that is so, please forgive me, because see, after all, you have to work hands-on wherever you are working. So even if you are not learning, because this is not a, just 1 minute. This is not a full-fledged training. We do a full course training in our normal sessions where we will take you through from the very scratch. But here we are building up the awareness. So I am resorting to a demo such that you can understand the power of Docker. Because I'm restricting my discussion on Docker as a container service. So I have proved, not necessarily, we are sure that we have done the Docker installation already. Docker images. Right now, I do not have any images. So one of the objects is a Docker file. You will see Docker engine, Docker hub, Docker images, containers. These are all discussed earlier. So I'm not going to this, but Docker file is one of the, like I can put in so many commands. So if I say Docker pull, and I'm saying Ubuntu. So what I'm doing, I am pulling my one image, which is from the official site of Docker, which is called Docker Hub. And what is this? This is an operating system, I'm saying, of the latest version. So what will it do? Right now, I do not have any images. I do not have any images. I'm pulling it, a ready-made image, a base image from my Docker Hub. How simple it is. I'm using a CLI command. So what it is doing is, it is saying that it already exists, whatever. Okay. So that Ubuntu latest is getting installed, downloaded from the Docker Hub. Okay. So this has come down to our local machine. So if I say Docker images, now earlier there was nothing. There was nothing. Now if I say yes, you have one image. But does that mean you have created your container? No, your container is still not there. I can directly say Docker run minus IT minus D minus name. I'm as if I have committed this to my memory. No, not that, because with practice, you will also gain that. Otherwise, you can always refer the documents that we will be providing you. So what are we doing? I'm putting this image just now I have downloaded into a container, because unless and until I put that into a container, there is no meaning of this image. I will not be able to use that image. Okay, that is the relation between an image and a container. A container cannot exist separately without an image. An image cannot exist separately without a container. So I am saying, I'm giving you a name of the container, my Ubuntu container. So I'm just giving it a name. And IT info, that is the interactive terminal. I'm attaching a terminal to this container, and I'm running this as a daemon in the background. Unless I put that into a background, this container is not persistent. Container is ephemeral. It's temporary. It will go. It will not run. So I have to put that into the background, and then I will say, if I want to, I am not going for any port mapping. So I'm not going by this, but I'm putting that Ubuntu image. So what I will do, I will mention what is the image that I want to put that. So my image is Ubuntu and the tag is latest. So now you see I have done something. So there is the container ID. What is that? So Docker PS. PS means I want to check the container. Yes. Can you see a container, that first 12 digits of this big number? This is the container ID. What is the image inside the container? This Ubuntu. What is the container running? That the bash. This is the shell environment of any Linux system. Okay, it was created 12 seconds back, and it is up for 11 seconds. And the name of the container is my Ubuntu container, because you have given it a name. So is it not fine? Fantastic. You have given the Docker CLI to create an image and then containerize the image. So if you have the image inside the container, can I use the container? Okay, I can say Docker exec. I'm going inside the container. Okay. And see, this container Ubuntu is running in that image is running inside the container. I'm getting inside the container. So I'm saying -IT. And what is the container ID? This one is the container ID, or you can give the container name as well. And then I will say what is the thing which is running as a command. See that it has gone. There is only one user of any container, and by default it is the root user. There is no Ubuntu, there is no Debashish, there is no Ola, no one. There is no user can be created. By default it is the root user, and you have got inside the container called with the container ID. So basically when you are seeing this prompt, you have come outside your host and you have gone inside the container. The magic is you can see that you are inside the container. This is a lightweight operating system. If you say what is your operating system, you name -A, you see this thing is Ubuntu, because the image running, which is a Linux operating system, is the Ubuntu. And then that's the reason you are able to run, say, cat. There is no file, say ABC, but you will not see it is giving some error message from the Ubuntu operating system. ABC, there is no such file or directory. Who is giving this message? The Linux operating system. So basically, if I say host name CTL host, because it does not work. This is not the host operating system. It is just an operating system as an image that you have downloaded, and it is inside the container. So it will have only a few things. There is no VI. VI is not found because it's a lightweight operating system as an image. I will come out of this by saying exit, and you see you have come back to your host. You have come back to your host OS, which is also Ubuntu. But this is the Ubuntu as the AMI I have used for that region when I created my EC2 instance. This is again a different topic in AWS. So if I say host name CTL, yes, this command will work because you are in the host. So this command was not working, or it is not available inside the container having Ubuntu, because that container is having Ubuntu in a small version, a light version. Here you have the full version of Ubuntu installed with that EC2 instance. So you have everything, all the details. It's a virtual machine. It has a chassis. Chassis is VM, virtual machine. What is the machine ID? What is the boot ID? What is the virtualization? That is the Zen virtualization. What is the operating system? Ubuntu 24.04 LTS long-term support. All these things are available. What is the kernel? Kernel version. It is a kernel version of AWS. Okay. And even the host name will work. This one. But see, I have given two CLI commands. First, what it did, it downloaded an image from the Docker Hub. Somebody was asking whether it is S3 bucket and the container registry is the same. No, S3 bucket is a storage, but Docker Hub is a storage for image where you can store container images, or you can Docker images. Downloaded the image, and then you have used the CLI to put that image inside the container. And then again, you have used Docker run command to create the container with the image. And then there is another CLI that you have used is the Docker exec command to get inside the container. Why do you get inside the container? I will refer to this image. You see, you get inside the, see, this is the container. You have created a container from the Docker command, CLI command. You have created, so you have downloaded an image and then containerized that. That is the base image, Ubuntu. And then you can get inside the container and you can add another layer of a software. You can install Emacs, or you can install Apache software. You can install your Java application. So you are adding layers after layers so you can get inside the Ubuntu. But I have not done that. I have just created a container with the image Ubuntu. So when you create a container, you have already installed, or rather you have created the environment called bootfs with the C groups and namespace, device mapper, and the kernel. So all this environment is already available within the container. That is why container is a self-managed object which can run an application without any external intervention. Any questions? I have been speaking one way, but you may have some questions. Can we discuss that, or can we proceed if you do not? So far, we have seen that whatever we are doing is a manual way of doing it. Now, I would like to go back and use the concept of Docker having a Docker file. So for sake of saving our time, I am going inside. There is a folder called Docker app, and for your benefit,
Is it my system or he's frozen?
I guess
No,
I guess he has a power outage or internet issue.
no,
Since we can
he
hear.
just called me. Hello, everyone. So he just called me. His system got crashed, so he's just restarting the system and he's logging in within 1 or 2 minutes.
All right, thank you.
So how, please share your feedback, how you are liking our cybersecurity internship or DevOps internship, or if you have any idea by which we can improve our deliverable, it will help us to, grow. Any suggestion from your end?
I have a question actually. There's another course of yours that I tried to register. I don't know if the token went through, but I didn't receive any positive feedback on the platform. But I keep receiving emails that I'm on, so I don't know what's happening there.
Which one?
Actually, it's cybersecurity. That's why I got confused actually when I received a notification that there's a cybersecurity session that's going on. So
So cybersecurity session, was today was there, right?
Yeah. Like I've been receiving those notifications. So at first I ignored them. So like when I joined earlier on, I think I texted you, but then I realized, oh, it was the session. Actually, I think I was late for it. So kind of, I don't know, like this. Yeah, that's my personal experience. So I don't
So
know.
yeah, so you're because we are using one bot called AMO. So if you were,
Oh,
and if it, because this is a every week class, so it's supposed to send email reminder for every week once. Now, if everyone is feeling that is a little bit annoying, then we are going to stop it.
okay.
What is your suggestion? Should we stop it or?
Mm, no, like actually I was trying to understand, maybe I thought maybe probably it was an error or of some sort, because like with the DevOps I didn't have any issues. It just showed me that I've registered and I was okay. But with the cybersecurity, I don't know, I was not receiving any feedbacks. It was just the emails alone.
Okay, I need to check.
Mm.
Maybe I need to give you the. It was there, but it needs some manual approval from our end. I will please share your email ID in your WhatsApp chat so I can look into it from the back end.
Okay, I'll text you in WhatsApp just now.
Sure. Any other question or any other suggestion from any of you?
Okay, I have.
Sorry,
I
quick
wanted.
question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask, the prior recordings, are they in any folder we can access or something?
Prior recording you can find in YouTube. We are also once today's meeting is done, we are trying to upload those videos in our YouTube channel. In our YouTube channel, we only upload our internship video, not our main course video. So you can watch those days recording on YouTube. Even
Okay.
you will have a video library in our website. The same time, yeah, we also share those link in our WhatsApp group.
Okay. Thank you. Because I
And
checked in the media section on the WhatsApp group, but I didn't see anything under
I
the
think
links or files.
it is there. But if you want, I like maybe within 1 or 2 days, you will find the new link where one of our trainer or mentor, they are going to share that this is the new video links for AI, new video links for the DevOps, new video links for cybersecurity. And once you click the link, you will find the playlist in YouTube with all the prior videos.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Most welcome. I think one of you have another question.
And I was trying to find out about the other platforms that is available, and then it's like he mentioned or raised the issue, and he said there is a WhatsApp platform, and then when you check on under the channel, you may have the link or something like that.
Yeah.
But apart from that, is there any other platform like Telegram or something like that?
Well, we are
as a means of communication.
We are not that much, active on marketing. So right now we do have only WhatsApp and Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams normally we use when we are, conducting this webinar or our private channel for our training. Apart from that, we use email and WhatsApp. We don't have any Telegram group, or we don't have any uh, Slack group. So we are only on WhatsApp. So yeah, that is a good suggestion, and we need to consider that to spread our wings maybe on Telegram and Slack, so more people can post their question and queries over there, so we can address those things. Yeah, that is a nice suggestion. Thank you.
I don't know if you got, I cannot send you a text on WhatsApp about not using a particular email instead of, I don't know if you got the the text message.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Huh?
Didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it. Okay.
If you can send it for me.
I'm talking about Mr. Kalkey.
I could not find your message
Okay.
yet.
Okay, so you said you dropped your number the other time, right?
I just
On the WhatsApp.
I just ping this. This is Menon. I don't know. We do have a multiple WhatsApp group. Which group you are in? Can you ping that now so I can understand?
I cannot even locate the group. I'm only seeing the Microsoft channel. I get the WhatsApp. Hello. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
And I'm talking of how do I locate the WhatsApp group? I can't see it on the YouTube channel.
Just give a minute. Let me ping some.
Oh no, it's on the description. Just look on the description on the YouTube channel session. It's actually on the description. It has everything in there.
I am pinging. So what is the group name? Are you in the Kalkey internship group?
Yeah, but I actually tried using that link. It didn't really allow me to. It told me that I can't join the group because the link was reset or something like that.
Okay, I am sending one more time. Can you use this link?
I'm very sorry. There was some technical. Suddenly, my laptop went off. So, Mr. Menon, can I continue, or what do you suggest?
Okay, just give a minute.
Sure.
Wilfred, I think I have approved for you. You're here. Hi. I have also sent a message. Can you see my message? Yes. So you want this 2008@gmail.com for your cybersecurity internship registration, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. I will look into it.
So I will share the screen. Is that fine?
Yeah, sure. So is it? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Please, can you confirm whether you are able to see the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Yes, we can see
So
it.
as I was sorry for this interruption, unwanted, but I will go to this. As I was saying that we are going to use our this one. So instead of doing it manually, what I will do, sorry, I will use an object of a Docker called Docker file. So if I go and see what I have written inside the Docker file is the same thing that I am trying to see. These are the various commands within the Docker file. All these things we are going to learn in our main course, but then it is just from Ubuntu is nothing but the command that you have given already know that from Ubuntu means it is equivalent to the Docker CLI command, like uh, when you say Docker pull Ubuntu. You can give a tag or you may not give. So if you do not give a tag like latest, it is the latest version. So can I understand that you have understood this? Instead of giving the CLI command this way, Docker file has particular short commands which will actually do a lot of things similar to if you had done it manually. I'm doing some sort of an automation that I'm setting up the environment. This is one environment variable, and I'm using a shell command called run. I will update because any container is owned by root. So I do not need to use, sudo apt update. What is apt update and all those things? These are all the Linux commands to, we are actually updating the repository. Then in this, we are updating or installing with the app manager. This is the package manager of Ubuntu. With this package manager, like you have Chocolatey for Windows, like you have Homebrew. Okay, for what? For Mac. With the help of Homebrew, you can install your Mac softwares. Similarly, with Chocolatey or with some PowerShell utility, you will be able to download and install the softwares from the package manager on Windows. Similarly, on Linux, on Ubuntu, the package manager is apt. You are installing Apache -2, -y. So that is automatically, it is not asking for any interruption, whether I want to continue. And you are adding all this, whatever the current directory is, you are adding or copying the files from the host system into the inside the container. After you have installed Apache, which is a web server, you have installed a folder called www.html under var. Now that is called the web folder of any web application. Under it, what will be there? There will be certain files called index.html, which is nothing but the landing page of any web application. And I'm using an entry point, which is a sort of a command. I'm trying to put that Apache into the background. -d foreground means in the background. So that is what I'm doing is I'm starting up Apache in the background. Where is this? This Apache has been installed on top of the Ubuntu image. So if you can relate this to this, you have already downloaded the Ubuntu image inside the container, and you have gone inside the container and you are installing Apache. Instead of doing it manually, you are doing it within a Docker file. And similarly, you are setting up an environment name, a variable, and then exposing 81, 82, 83, 84. Now, can anybody tell me why I need to expose this and this ports? That is the basic funda of any container. Hello? Can anybody give me an answer why I'm exposing all these other ports? Because can anybody tell me where is this Apache, in which port Apache has been installed inside the container? Which container port? Just now we have discussed. So Apache, which is a web server, Apache web server will be running or installed, or better to say, will be listening on which port? On port
80.
AT, very good, which is an HTTP. Apache is a web server, so web server is nothing but a Apache HTTP server. But the rule says a container port. So an application. So what is the application? An application like Apache. This is an application, a software application, a web server. So an application like Apache cannot be directly accessed over the container port 80 from outside. Basically, you have to access the container which is running an application inside the container from outside. Outside means from some browser. But can you directly access the port 80? No, that is the security, security restriction. You cannot directly access a container port. So what you are doing, you are making a provision that you are making it 81. You are exposing these other ports such that they are ready for mapping into port 80. We are going to see that. I'm just trying to remove this. This is just for your. So I've removed this. I will save this and come out. So where I'm running this, I'm running this Docker file from this host machine, this host, local host, where there is only the Docker file. And I will now use a Docker command to build it, to build the image. So whatever the Docker image is, I will like to take this off. So I will say RMI. I will remove the image called Ubuntu. But it is unable to remove the Ubuntu because the container, this one is running the image. So there is a dependency. So first of all, I have to stop the container Docker. So I will, this is my container which is running. So I will say Docker RM -F. So I'm removing forcefully my container. So if I say Docker PS -A, nothing is there. Docker, this container has been removed. Now I'm in a good position to remove the image. So now you see it has deleted the image in the layer of the image. So if I say Docker images, what will you see? Nothing is there. And now I am in the Docker file. I will like to say build it, Docker build dot from the current directory -t, attach a terminal, and you do not need to mention the file because the file is the default file name. So you do not need to mention -f Docker file. No, not needed. Just you give the image that you want to build. Say, let's say I'm trying to create an image called Ubuntu Apache. Now, what happened? The building was finished. 9 out of 9 tasks have been finished. So first of all, it has loaded from. It is loading all the commands from the Docker file. First of all, okay. And then the first task was to from Docker. So from the Docker IO library, so that is from the Docker Hub, it has downloaded your image. And then and the second, setting up the environment is fine. Then it has the main task is it has run, updated the repository. Then it has installed. It is according to the Docker file, one by one the commands have been executed. It has updated, installed Apache -y. It has added, that means copied the Docker file. There was only one file, so it has copied that file into that folder in the container, and it has exporting that image. So now if you say you have built an image, you have built an image. So let me check what is the image that has been built. Yes, can you see? I have given the name as Ubuntu Apache. The name of the image. This is the image ID, and this is the size. The size is nothing but Ubuntu plus Apache, because these are the two softwares as an image inside the container. And is your container running? Did you put that into a container? Docker ps minus Docker ps. So there is no container. So what I will do, are you following me? Please let me know. Please respond. Is there any questions that you may have?
So
yeah.
Why did they say the image was created 2 weeks ago? I'm just wondering.
Okay. Very good observation and a question. This somebody, see, I have not created this image and saved it. Somebody, see, I can also have a Docker Hub. See, this is my Docker Hub. I have created an account in my Docker Hub. I can store my images if I wanted to create. See, I'm logging into my Devashish account in my Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a public repository where I can put my own images. See, for the sake of my training, I have these are all the various images that I have created. This is a microservice. Okay, these two are microservice. This is a Java pet clinic. This is one application, big application. This is Ansible. These are all images. Yeah. Sorry.
Are they more like a storage?
It is like a storage, yes, but you can store only a valid Docker image. Can you store a container? No. Containers are ephemeral objects. You can only store the objects of Docker, which is the image. So you can store an image. Like you can there is an album. Album is to store all your photos. Like you have albums earlier days. Nowadays you do not use album, but earlier days we are an old guy. So we used to keep all the very important photos of family, of friends and whatever inside an album. So can I say that album is a container and those photos are the images? So I cannot store the album over here. I can store only my individual photos, and those photos are nothing but a ordinary photo. It has to be a Docker image. So only a Docker image can be stored. And there in the public repository, you will have many official documents. So images. One of them is just now you have downloaded. You have downloaded an Ubuntu image. So Docker images. So the Docker file is from Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is one of the official image. I have not created it. So your question was, why was it giving 2 weeks ago? Somebody has put that Ubuntu image, that image, the base image was created 2 weeks back. Somebody has put in. I am using it because if you see the explore the official image of Ubuntu, that's a very good question actually. I'm searching the Docker Hub. I'm searching for Ubuntu. Let me check. Yeah, Ubuntu is there. So Ubuntu, this is an official image of Ubuntu. Can you see? This is the official logo of Ubuntu. These three guys are hand holding. This is so you can use a Docker pull Ubuntu, and that is what I've done. But I have done it through Docker file using from command. This is somebody has put that with some changes just recently, 22 days back. So this age of this is 22 weeks back. Sorry, not 22, 2 weeks back. The size is 22 MB, but this 222 MB is not only the size of Ubuntu, it is also having Apache, the size of Apache. And if you ask me, can I have an image of Apache as well? Apache is called HTTPD. That is the more popular term. This is the Apache HTTP server. Can you see? This is the image of or the logo of Apache, the feather. Lightweight. So it's a lightweight web server, but it is also a Docker official image.
So sorry, what about HTTP? Is that not also Apache?
So HTTPD is called the Apache. HTTP is a technology. HTTP is a web server technology. Okay, and if you say HTTPD, it is nothing but your Apache. So that is actually called Apache web server. But here in Ubuntu, when you download it, it is with an Apache. So you can say Docker pull HTTPD. You must not say Apache 2. Apache 2 is a package. So therefore, you do not need to pull it. You say sudo apt install Apache 2 -y. So Apache 2 is a web server, which is nothing but an HTTP server. Inside Ubuntu, it is known as Apache 2, but outside Ubuntu, in anywhere else, it is known as HTTPD. But it is equivalent, the same thing. Okay. Is that thing clear? But my question is, I have not yet put that into. I have not put that yet into a container. So what I will do, I will say Docker run -it -d. I'm just giving it a name as my say Apache Ubuntu container 1. And I'm saying I will have a port mapping of 81 versus 80. And what is the image? See, I have to mention the image. What is the image? Image is Ubuntu Apache. So again, I'm trying to create a container using Docker run with it as an option, -d as an option, daemon, and giving it a name as Apache Ubuntu Container 1. I'm mapping a port 81 because 81 is already exposed through the Docker file. So this 81 is ready to be mapped to the port 80. 80 is what? 80 is the original container of Apache 2 container port. And I'm giving it a name. The image is, I'm putting that image inside this container. So let me run this. So see, you have built, first you have built the image, and then second step was using a Docker CLI command to containerize the image. Did I do it? How do I prove that? PS. Can you see? Docker PS means it is saying that yes, the container ID is this. it is having an image called Ubuntu Apache. It is inside the container. It is running an Apache. So Apache is running in the background. Remember? And it was created 23 seconds back. It was up 23 seconds. And there are 81 to 84 ports, TCP/IP ports, which are available for mapping, out of which you have mapped 81 to 80. So you can access it outside, from outside, using 81. Now, can I go and check? I can check curl HTTP. Curl is an internal character URL to just check whether this site is working. What is the site? Can I say it is localhost? Localhost because my server is local. I am on the server itself. So localhost. Can I say 81 or 80? Will I say 80 or 81 to access this container?
81.
I will say 81.
Right.
Yes, yes. Can you see that it is giving some landing page? What is the what should be the landing page? The landing page is nothing but the Apache, because we have installed Apache. This is the title. And how do I confirm that? So, okay, for that, I need to go inside the container. So Docker PS. So what is the container? Docker. How will I go inside the container? I will say Docker exec minus IT. And what is the container name or container ID? This one. And what is the shell that is running? So it is a bash shell because there is a Ubuntu inside the container. So I am inside the container. If I am inside the container, can I confirm that Apache is running? So the server is Ubuntu, of course, because there is a Ubuntu, lightweight Ubuntu that you have used as a base image. But on top of that, I want to make sure that I am having the Debian package. See, whatever you install on Ubuntu is a Debian, because Ubuntu belongs to a Debian family of Linux servers. What is the grep? Grep is a shell command. So grep, what is the package?
Mr. Devashish, I think Alex has some question.
Alex, yes. Yes, Alex, please.
Zaxin is called similar to Pinch.
So Alex, can you tell me what is the question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. My question tracks back a little bit, because I feel like I've gotten lost,
Yes.
especially when we're changing routes a lot. So can you track back a little bit, back to the structure of layers that you showed us with Docker?
When you say you are lost, I'm very happy. Because then there is always a chance for you to learn more.
Yes.
And then
yes, definitely.
my role comes into picture. I am the mentor.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just joking. I was just kidding. Yeah. So
but yeah,
you tell me.
So you remember you showed us the structure of the layers of how Docker works,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
With
yes.
the I'm not sure, you'd mentioned that I'm trying to remember the
these are the
steps
layers.
exactly.
This
Yes. So from the kernel, and so what I'm trying to understand is that when we are busy using commands in Docker, did we
Yes.
already create the virtual machine first and then use the
Yes.
virtual machine
Yes.
access?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, I told you that I have already created for you one virtual machine called EC2 instance, and I've given it a name as Internship Docker. I have made it a T2 micro on a AWS Cloud having. This is the security group because I wanted to use a firewall, and also I wanted to use a key pair. by the name DevOps Internship. All these things have already been made available for me. And also I then logged in to my, that is what I did. I logged into my instance, EC2 instance through the SSH connect, okay, through PuTTY. And then I told you that I confirmed that there is an installation of Docker. I showed you that I have already installed Docker, the Docker server, which is called the Docker CE container engine, then the Docker CLI, and the container D. Container D is nothing but the REST API. So these are the three parts which I have already installed. I have not shown you the installation steps because that is not relevant. You assume that there is a Docker software which is going to help me to create the containers, to create the images, put the images inside the container, run the container, get inside the container, map the container with the port, and all those things. Create a Docker file, execute the Docker file using Docker build. All these things we have done. So the end result is that we have created using the Docker file. Sorry, Docker file D is capital. The Docker file, we have created Docker file to create or build the image. And then we used another Docker command, Docker run, then containerized, because unless and until we containerize it, we will not be able to use the image. The image is, in our case, is the combination of Ubuntu and Apache. Because first we downloaded Ubuntu as the base image. You see in our diagram, we have downloaded the base image from the Docker Hub. Let's say this is somewhere in the Docker Hub. We have downloaded it using some technology called Docker file. And within the Docker file, we used a command called from. So that will help me to create a base image and put that base image inside a container with the bootfs, C groups, namespace, device mapper, okay, with the environment. And now another thing that we have seen in the Docker file is that in this, after that, we have got inside the container and then used the run command. To run is a Docker file command. We have updated the repository, and then we, on the top of Ubuntu, on the base image Ubuntu, I have installed Apache. So I have added one more layer.
Okay. So these are these the commands?
Yes, yes, exactly. These are the commands. I could have used easily separate manual CLI, Docker CLI commands to do all these things, but I didn't.
Okay.
I could have got inside the, but that is the manual thing. This is sort of an automation.
Okay.
What I did, I put all the commands inside my Docker file, and then I have run the Docker file using Docker build. So I can build the image out of. So
what's the name of the Docker file in this case?
In this case, the name of the Docker file is Docker file. That's the default name.
Okay. Okay.
That's why when I, what was the build command? You see, I have given a build command. Did I mention the Docker file name? Because like this, I do not need to. It is the default name. So what I said, build dot -t, I have attached a terminal. Dot means in the current directory. I'm already in the directory where you have the Docker file. So I do not need to mention the Docker file name itself. I just have to mention what is the image name that you want to create from the Docker file. So once that image has been created, now the next command was I have run. I have given a command run. This is a CLI command. I have given it the interactive terminal, the daemon, and the name, Apache Ubuntu. See. So this is, I have mapped 81. So what I will do now, I'm using the curl. I verified that yes, this container is running with this particular image, which is an Apache. So can I access it from outside? Why not? Okay, let us do it. So what is the localhost equivalent of the IP address? The IP address, I always remember IP address has to be the external, the public IP address. So I copy this. I go to here and I say HTTP because, sorry.
I think Mr. Devashish, Alec.
Yes, I'm going to stop it.
Yeah, Ernest has someone. He is waiting for a little long.
Sure. Ernest is waiting for?
Like he has some question and.
Sure.
I was actually following up on.
Give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2
Okay.
minutes. Let me just complete this. Then I will. So here, what I said that I want to access this URL. This is my browser. I'm using an HTTP application, and I am going to access this server, which is on which my application is running. And what is the application port on which I have to access? Because my container is running on port 80, but I cannot do it over 80. From outside, I will not be allowed.
We exposed port 81, 82.
Port 81. So in this case, you see, you give me some time. Yeah, unable to connect. Now, not HTTPS. Remember, this is not HTTPS. This server that I have built is an HTTP server. And I will say 81. You will call the Apache page. Do you understand what is this? Because that is what is the landing page of Apache. It is called the index.html. I can verify that. I will not do anything without understanding it clearly. So what I will do, Docker PS, I will get inside the container. What is the container name or the ID? So Docker exec minus IT into this container, and with this bash, I'm inside the container, and dpkg minus L. I have to confirm to my management that yes, I have already installed on top of Ubuntu an application called Apache 2. Can you see that Apache 2 is the Apache HTTP server? Earlier, this was not there, but with the help of Docker file, I have created this image, installed it over the Ubuntu. So this is working. So if this is working, this is working in the background. That's why, because you have done the Apache control -d foreground. So I will know that there is a web folder called var www html. Now our Docker file had a command to copy the files from the host. So Docker file was copied, but this was created by Apache when Apache was installed. And this is nothing but the index.html of Apache. So if you see the index, vi does not work. So you can say cat. Can you see this is the Apache package, and that is what you are seeing over here. Now quickly, if I go over here, if I say exit, and I will make the Docker PS, I will make this container down. So Docker stop this container. It is stopping the container. Stopping the container means it is stopping the application Apache or whatever it is running inside that. See, it has been stopped. Now, if you say Docker PS, you will see that the container is not there. But yeah, the container is there in an exited status -a.
Okay.
Yes,
because I was going to ask if it was removed or not. Okay.
No, it is not yet removed. It is sort of temporarily taken out. The service has been dropped. Okay, now if I ask you, if I refresh this, will it work?
No.
No. Because your container is not running. So how will you be able to access that application which is running inside the container? So this is all I wanted to show you the power. I can do a lot of things just starting from here, but since it is already time, you have been almost like 4 hours, more than 4 hours you are there with us. It's a torture. I don't want to be part of that crime.
No, it's fine. My follow-up question was going to be, because I remember you used this other command called curl.
Curl, yes.
But it was testing. I'm not sure if it was testing the URL or, and in the chat I was asking if curl is similar to ping. Could you please just clarify?
Ping is, you can say it is almost like sort of a ping test, but ping is generally to test whether your handshaking or two devices are connected. Let's say one device is my Windows, or the other device, maybe there are two servers or two EC2 instances, and I have a connection. Both these servers trust each other. So there is an authentication. I have a mechanism how to do that trust mechanism. So once one server trusts the other server, that means the other server also trusts the other server. Okay. In that case, if I say ping, if I say ping, say localhost, I'm trying to self ping because I do not have another server where I can establish, because here I have only one server created. Anyway, but I can ping myself. So when I'm pinging myself, I'm saying that my network is up and running. So I'm ready for connecting to any other servers because I can self ping myself.
Okay.
So
we cannot
-C.
ping other. So we cannot ping other machines because since we do not know their IP address.
Yes.
In this case, okay.
In this case, not only knowing the IP address, I have to make the trusted one, because yeah, I may know the IP address, but do I have an authentication to use that server? Maybe not. So if this server, let's say this server is server A. Server A knows server B. That means they are somehow connected. And there is a mechanism how to do that. There is always, if you say there is a .ssh folder, and under that folder there is an authorized keys file. If I check what is there, this is nothing but a fingerprint. And what is that fingerprint? Fingerprint is DevOps Internship. What is this? This is the key pair. Did I not create this server with the fingerprint, with the key pair? This is the encrypted fingerprint. This is how, when I connect it over the PuTTY, I have given the fingerprint, and this fingerprint matches with the fingerprint which is with this server. Therefore, these two systems can ping. My Windows can ping Windows server to this server. It can ping. But when you say, what was the question? Original question? I forgot. What did you ask?
The curl.
Curl. But curl is not. Curl is, let's say, localhost HTTP. So I am testing the site whether I can curl google.com. Okay, so I'm testing whether I can hit the website. This is the website available for me to access. Here, yeah, you say the HTTP google.com. It is moved because it is directly not able to ping the Google, the landing page. That is there is some restriction. But anyway, but still there is some response back from the Google server, isn't it? So curl is to hit This is a character interface. This is not a GUI, not a GUI like Windows, or it is not a Windows browser. So I will not be able to use directly a URL because there is no browser as such. So what is my browser over a character user terminal like Linux? It is curl. Is a software.
Okay.
So since I have built a web application, there is a website, and in that container, what I'm doing, I'm accessing the container. Curl HTTP, because my container is working. Curl HTTP localhost and 81. But it cannot resolve the host because my container is, if you say Docker PS, your container is down. So what you can say, Docker start. Oh, I forgot the name of the container. So let me check it. So my container name is this one. So if I say Docker start this container, yeah. So if you say Docker PS, now you see the container is up and running. So will my curl work? Yes. Why not? Oh.
I think local
sorry.
host.
Sorry. Local. So see, and therefore I can again go back over here, and there is no problem if I run it again.
I see.
Can I, Devalis, can I explain it in 2 minutes, just 2 sentences? I can add 2 things for that. What you're
Sure. Karthik.
Yeah.
Oh, you are still there. Karthik, you must be.
I'm going and coming in.
Yeah.
So I was just going through. Alex, in a simple way, we can tell it as is ping command is used to check if the device is up or down. Okay.
Yes.
It is not accurate because ping can be disabled on the device. So, but it will usually tell us whether the device is up or on, but it does not tell whether the web server is up or on. Okay, it is only tell the IP address is exactly. So what happens with the curl server, what exactly the bus is told right now, it will connect to that web server on that page and it will download the content, whatever is there on that page. So curl will help us that even though IP address is up and web server is also up and running. Ping will not tell us that web server is running. No, the port can be closed. IP address is open, but port 80 or 443 can be closed. Whereas curl will help us get that information. That's the additional thing it will do. Right. And you can also download. It is curl basically is used for browsing internet using command prompt, right? So that is the main reason for that. But it gives us basically we administrator use it to check if the device website is up or down. That's the reason for that. Simple way.
Exactly.
Okay. Because it explains why I'm seeing the HTML structure of the website also. So
yes, the code, whatever the client side code is supposed to come, it will come down there. Right.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mr. Karthik.
Thanks, Karthik. Nice explanation.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
See, we form a formidable group of mentors, you know.
Yes, true. because we work in different things, but everything comes together in one point.
Correct.
Sorry, Mr.
So thank you very much.
I know you'll use the PS command a lot. What exactly does it do, the PS command?
PS is in terms of, you know, this one. Okay, let me use another use of PS, not the Docker PS. Docker PS will list. This is nothing but to list a set of containers, which are running in the local system. Okay. So when I say Docker is the command, CLI command, and say PS is the option. So it will give you the list of all the containers. Here in our case, there is only one container, but there can be lots of containers. Similarly, when I say Docker images, it is giving a list of all the images that is available in the local system. There is PS means sort of a processes. If you want to check what are the kernel processes running in the background of this Linux machine, you will say PS minus EAF. And there are so many. See, can you see one SSHD? This daemon is also running on a particular port. And what is the port? The port is always 22. And here, this is the process ID 2131. You can use a command called kill -9. Of course, if you have a permission, root permission. So kill -9, you can kill this particular. I will not do that. But you see, you are going for a sure kill. -9 is for a sure kill, and you can stop this process. So this is the process ID you are killing. So in that case, if you have taken out the SSHD service from this port 22, will you be able to connect to this server from outside with SSH?
No.
No. So this is a very vital service. So what are you seeing? You are seeing all the services which are running in the background. This is the user ID. And you see, these are all processes owned by root. There are few others which are owners of other processes like the Crony, the syslog, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is this systemd, and you have been connected with SSD with the Ubuntu user. So these are the various processes. And you see your container is also running in the background with this thing. So Apache is running in the background. Did you see? So when you say vi docker file, can you see that entry point? That is the point of execution of the command within the container. Is that the Apache is this particular service has taken the Apache to run in the background. -D foreground means background. That is what you are seeing when you list down all the processes that are running in the background. PS -EF, let's say grep. I am interested to only know what are the Apache services running in the background. So you see the red ones. So Apache CTL -D background, Apache 2 in the background. So this is the PS command. You list all the processes that are running in the background. And for Docker containers which are running in the background, you say Docker PS. Okay. So I think Mr. Menon, I have given you a hard time today.
No, this is it's also a learning curve for me, and thank you for all those information from you and from Mr. Karthik.
Yeah.
So I think we can stop for today's session, and next weekend we will start our next day's session for cybersecurity as well as DevOps with the same fashion, with the same link. And so we are at the end of today's or this week internship program. So before we are ending, if you have any other question or any question, please feel free to ask. And
sorry, what happened to the Kubernetes? Because I remember it was supposed to be Docker and Kubernetes.
Yes, sorry, because today I had a plan also to start Kubernetes, but I was just getting so involved with the technology of Docker. It is my bad that I could not squeeze out some time for Kubernetes. But I promise you, if we have missed out today, there will be one more session for Kubernetes. Don't worry, we are there. So there will be another two, because I was supposed to end in the next weekend, which will be the 8th session. But okay, that is fine. I will have 2 more sessions on Kubernetes, purely on Kubernetes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. And that is a promise from our side. I don't have any.
So this is our kind of a normal way of teaching. Normally, if
Thank
some
you.
classes are for 6 weeks, most of the time we need to extend our time, because this we don't measure our course deliverable as per the timeline. We have to make it sure that all of our students, they are satisfied with the information, because we in a one batch, we always as these batches are hands-on training, we do have a limited number of students in our main classes to make it sure that we maintain the integrity of hands-on training. Now, luckily we have some students are very new, or we do have some students who have the prior experience, and sometimes we have the students who are repeating the same classes twice or thrice time, and this is pretty common for us. So now everyone's grasping power is not same, so we need to make it sure those are the like a very young or the beginning stage, they should not be left behind. And for that, sometime we have to increase our duration of the time or duration of our classes. Same happened with our this ongoing DevOps classes is supposed to end in July 1st, but we had to extend for 1 extra week to complete the whole session, because we had to set up some extra classes, look back session, brush up sessions, to make sure that all of our students, they are literally job ready at the end of the session, right? So don't worry. Now we do have some an announcement. Our cybersecurity batch is going to start at the end of the July, and our DevOps evening batches is going to start, I think, Mr. Devashish, correct me if I'm wrong, it is next Friday?
Oh, see, we can start from Monday.